I hear it. Tick, 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 tick. The clock is ticking. It's after 11 o'clock. You know what that means. Yes, folks, that means it's time for your favorite show and mine, Countdown to Armageddon. And this is your host, Publius. And today I want to talk to you. Let's go ahead and talk about that most evil of all words, taxes. And before I really get into the point of why I'm bringing this subject up, let's take a look at the history of taxes in the United States. No, this is not going to take that long because guess what? Prior to 1913, we did not have income tax in this country. Let me rephrase that. We did not have a permanent income tax. During the Civil War, an income tax was imposed. But it was a short-term thing, providing money to support the military as the North pushed their agenda on the South. I'm not going to go into the war between the states. I'm just looking at taxation. So, this nation was founded in 1776. From 1776 all the way to 1913, we did not really have a personal income tax. The government ran the jobs it had and was able to perform its jobs without personally taxing us. It did so from tariffs and import duties and so on and so forth. In 1913, it was decided we needed a personal income tax. Why? Because the government wanted to spend money. They wanted to start doing things that were not authorized. So, in order to fund these programs, they created income tax. And this income tax started out very, very low. And over the years, it has increased and decreased and increased and decreased. At points, the highest tax bracket paid 90% tax. Now, yes, there's a difference between your income tax rate and your effective tax. We know this because we can look at today. Regardless of what the tax rate is, some people get away with paying nothing. Corporations are very good at this because their effective tax rate is a lot lower than their ascribed tax rate. Now, I'll tell you right now, I don't agree with the idea of an income tax. I definitely do not agree with a progressive income tax. You see, you either believe the government deserves this money, in which case it should be an equal amount from everybody, or they don't deserve the money. The problem is the progressives got into control and decided, well, it's not fair that these people benefit so much more. But do they benefit from government, or do they benefit more from an absence of government? It's a discussion for a later date. The problem is we have taxes, and these taxes go up and down. The problem with that is the more you make, the more the government takes. That right there is a glitch. That tells people, don't do better. If you do better, you will lose. How many of you remember what it's like to be single and working in America? If you're single and work in America, you're getting the shaft. Don't work overtime because you won't see it anyway. And all of this is the result of a progressive taxation system. Now, our government taxes everything. And when we sit there and we try to calculate how much money is spent by each person in taxes, I mean, there's one group that goes out there every year and tries to figure this out, and they give you, anywhere from 40% and on up. It really does vary. The problem is, they're not counting how much you're paying in all taxes. They're not counting how much taxes are buried within the other taxes. Let me give you an example. Let's take tobacco. Now, tobacco gets shafts on tax. Lots of taxes on tobacco. But there's other taxes hidden in that cost of tobacco too. When that semi picks up that load of tobacco and takes it to the cigarette manufacturer, that semi is taxed on its gas ration, fuel. There's a fuel tax. That goes into the price of the tobacco. These downstream taxations are not counted. I'll tell you right now, from what I can gather and my research, we're looking at a minimum of 50% tax, probably closer to 60%. And the more you make, the more it is. Some cities, some states, and some counties add additional and the states add additional taxes. I happen to live in Texas. We don't have a state tax. We have a sales tax. Now the other group, the Tax Foundation, does record our sales tax into it and gives you an estimate of how much each state pays in taxes. Yes, if you live in California, you're getting shafted. Same thing with New York. But you know what? You voted for it, and you keep voting for it, and you keep saying, yes, sir, can I have another? So, taxes are out there in large areas of our lives. Now, another set of taxes that we pay is what's called a capital gains tax. What this means is if you put money in a bank and you get interest, that is a capital gain. You pay right now, I believe it is 25%. That means the government's going to come up and take a quarter of whatever you just made. You made it an interest by allowing the bank to make loans to other people. That's what your interest is. That's the payment. When you make interest from the bank, they're paying you to use your money. Okay. Let's look at the other area that capital gains applies to. You invest in a company. You buy stocks, bonds. You pay a capital gains tax right now, right about 25%. But what you've done is allowed a company to have the money necessary to employ people. And yet you still get shafted 25%. Now the bad part about this is when you lose and the stock goes down, you don't get to, you can't say the government isn't going to take and give you back your money. They're more than willing for you to take the shaft again. Now, why have I brought all this up? Well, I brought this up because Herr Biden has decided we don't pay enough taxes. Now, everybody who's shocked that he's saying this, you're idiots. This moron has been talking about raising taxes all the way from back when he was a candidate. Now, granted, he's a lying sack of you-know-what, because he says, but I'm only going to tax the rich. The middle class is never going to feel this. That's a lie. I'm not going to tax the middle class. That's a lie. Why? Because, hey, you get interest on your money in the bank, you're getting taxed. And he wants to increase the taxes on that too. Now, right now, he is saying he only wants to tax corporate capital gains on people that make more than $1 million in capital gains. And you're sitting back going, I don't care, I don't make anywhere near that. Yeah, here's the problem with it. When you have a tax that has a threshold, meaning that anybody who makes below that amount is clear from this tax. Do rich people really have to pay taxes? No. Why? They can move. A rich person can gather all his shit up and say, I'm out of here. And we've seen this happen numerous times. So many times that it's mind-boggling that anybody keeps thinking you can punish the rich. The French tried it, their rich left. New York's tried it, their rich left. Their rich have left so much that you actually had Como begging people to come back. Como and de Blasio said, I'll make a barbecue, I'll cook, please come back. Why? Because the rich left. They said, I like being a New Yorker and all, but y'all suck. People leave California in droves. Part of why is because the taxation is so high. Now, if we have all these examples, empirical examples of people that are rich saying, I'm out of here, what makes you think that there are going to be enough rich people to support the programs that you're funding? They're not. So that threshold gets lowered. It's $1 million in what he's proposing right now, but in 4 years, it could be $200, could be $2,000, could be $200,000. The point is, the number is going to drop. For those people that do stay and do pay their taxes, are you going to continue investing your money to give the government a higher percentage of it? And what is he talking about? He's talking about taking the 25% and throwing it away and treating that income, that money that they're getting, as if it was a salary, which means that you're looking at your tax rate. And of course, he's already talking about boosting that tax rate only on the wealthiest people. Only on the wealthiest people. The problem with that is, okay, if you're Bill Gates, do you need to earn any more money? No. You don't have to earn a dime. Do you have to keep investing? No. You don't have to invest a dime. You can live off the proceeds of your income. You can live off... Man, that man can spend $1 million a year and probably would never go broke. The point is, they don't have to do any of this. Now, there is another proposal that is being batted around, which is called a wealth tax. They want to do it one time, so take X amount of your money from you if you have more than so much. These things don't work because one time is never one time, it's multiple times. And in order to generate the type of money that they're looking at needing, it's going to keep going up. Now, Biden, for all his lip service to freedom, and I mean, he does a lot of lip service. He does a lot of lying. He tells us he believes in the American people. He believes in this. He believes in that. He says he believes that he's a Christian, and so on and so forth. The man doesn't put actions towards. What does he do? He does the opposite, because what Biden, whether he believes in what he's doing now or not, what he's doing is he's pushing progressive socialism. He is, hey, from those to those who need. This is not going to work. It has never worked. All it's going to do is cause people that have wealth to find non-taxable ways to protect it. That means that they stop investing in the market, then they stop investing in the market. Now, a lot of the middle class people, that's your retirement funds, because it's made up of those investments. So guess what? Your retirement is over. The rich, they're not investing. The stocks don't grow. Businesses have to slow down their rate of growth, or even stop it. The point is, You're making the economy pay for your misguided beliefs. Now, Biden's goals, I think personally his goals are to trash the United States and put it to where people have to be so dependent upon the government, they're going to do whatever they're told. We see this because, number one, how do you like them gas prices right now? And I know there's going to be a few of you morons out there that say, well, the president doesn't really change gas prices. No, but he can sure jack the shit out of them. How? Cancel the Keystone Pipeline, number one. There's a lot of gas no longer coming in, making it scarcer, making the prices go up. And while you're at it, let's cancel all new leases in offshore drilling, onshore drilling. Let's cancel all that. No more new drilling. No more new drilling means no growth potential. No growth potential means the amount of oil available has decreased compared to the population, which increases. So, oil prices are going up, and they have been since he got in office. Why? Because he don't like oil. He's one of those true believers in climate change, and he's going to screw the world to supposedly fix it. Meanwhile, our economy is taking a hit, and it's going to keep taking hits. And what's going to make it worse is you take his economic policy and you add to it his immigration policy, and you're going to find the government is going to need more and more and more money. And where do they get that money? From you. And then that means that next year they're going to sit back and go, well, jacking the rates on the top didn't do enough. We're going to need to add a couple more brackets. They have to go back up. We've already raised corporate taxes, and they're cutting back now. Why? Because they don't want to pay higher taxes. I remember when Buffett was talking about how we should raise taxes. And I kept thinking to myself, if you really felt this bad about the fact you pay less in taxes on your capital gains than your secretary does on her salary, donate the money to the government. Everybody can. But no, they don't want that. They want to make everyone else do it too. Folks, I'm telling you right now, if you think you can tax your way to prosperity, you're a moron. It's never worked. It only gets worse. You cannot use taxation to make everybody equal, unless you want to make everybody equally poor. The effects of taxation goes further than just what's being said. If you raise the taxes on a company, do you think companies don't pay any tax in reality? You do. How? The price of their goods. They just turn around and pass the increased taxes on as an increased price. So there goes all that tax money because you're paying more. And for every form of taxation that is hit upon anybody of means, there is a reciprocal payment. And by this I mean, you jack Warren Buffett's taxes up, his goods and services are going to cost more. Or they're not going to invest, which in turn is going to cost the companies, which in turn means they're going to have to raise their prices. Bottom line, the more you tax, the more you hurt the economy. And Biden, he don't get it. Number one, he's not a poor person. He's not going to feel the increase. He doesn't feel the increase in gas from $5 a gallon. Why should he? He don't pay it. Well, not personally. He sends a driver. They fill it up. He deducts it, whatever. He doesn't notice. You will. If you follow their reasoning and you allow them to continue this garbage, things are going to get bad. This economy is going to take a hit. It's not going to get better. It's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. Because the more they are allowed to influence it and affect it, everything they do is just hurting it. Taxation is theft. I'm sure by now you all have heard that phrase. And some of you go, well, no, that's the price of living in a civilized society. Wrong. That's the price of living in an uncivilized society. In a civilized society, we wouldn't need taxes. We didn't need taxes in this country for up until 1913, when our government decided it needed to be our nanny. Well, the nanny state is expensive. A government which controls such a large amount of our economy is very expensive. We're paying the parasites. Government doesn't produce anything but waste and costs. This is going to hurt us. And old Biden, Uncle Joe, he doesn't care. He's got interns he can snuff. Folks, when the Democrats stole this election, they moved us forward into this era of pain. And the pain is only going to get worse, not better. And they're going out of their way because they're so stupid about economics. They don't realize that if you add another 10 million people, 20 million people as an expense, it's just going to get more expensive. The immigration policy of the United States right now is basically, come on over. Free lunch is on the table. We're going to fly you wherever you needs to go. And when you get there, we're going to give you money for food, for a house. We're going to give you some extra money so you can buy clothes and such. Oh, remember, vote Democrat. Okay, folks, this has been Publius' discussion of taxation. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope at least it's got you thinking. Go look it up. You don't believe me? Look it up. Whatever you do, whatever you hear, if you have questions about it, look it up. Stop letting them lead you around by the nose and telling you that a bunch of horse shit is a gourmet meal. Y'all being suckered. Now, if you like this show, please hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. Send it to a progressive. Let's see what they have to say. I'd like to see them defend themselves. It would be interesting to have a progressive talk to me. The problem with that is eventually we get down to the fact that we operate under entirely different paradigms. They believe that they have the right to you, the fruits of your labor. I don't. Leave a comment. If you want to support the program, go ahead and go through this this platform. And remember, I'm out here. Publius will always be telling you about what he sees and what he feels. Thank you for your time. You have a wonderful week.